Thanks a lot. It really is kind of scary when you get that kind of a introduction. I am a USF dropout, but we're not going to talk about USF today. And I've been inspired by a lot of what's been going on today. In fact, I think the next time I come and speak, I want to talk about the we of entrepreneurship, because that's truly what we were seeing earlier today. But we're not here to talk about that today. I think the topic is money. It's all about the money, and does it really matter? And I think when we talk money, we're not talking about, in this particular context, we're talking about early stage funding for startups. And I'm going to start off by going in a little bit of a different direction. And you'll realize why in a second. But in 2007, a lady by the name of Jennifer Strange, in a contest put on by a local LA radio station, drank a whole bunch of money. But water. So she drank a whole bunch of water, and the contest was who can drink the most water. A few hours later, she won. A few hours later, she was found dead. In 2005, a college student participating in a hazing ritual drank a whole bunch of water, and he too was found dead. If we listen to the World Health Organization, if we believe the numbers they give us, 1 in 9 individuals in this world today is dying of thirst. And in fact, over 300,000 kids died, 5 years and under, die every year because of lack of clean water. So where am I going with this, right? Why am I talking about water? I'm supposed to be up here talking about money. Well, funding for early stage companies is kind of like water. We give it too much, they'll die. We don't give it enough, they'll die. So what I'm here to talk to you about today is not about whether there's enough capital for early stage company, but in trying to understand where the capital is not available to them and why they're dying out there. As Sarah said, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been a part of 14 startups of my own, all with successful exits. I have coached, I think I'm pretty close to 100 startups. Those startups have had over $4 billion in exits. I am an angel investor. I've stood up multiple angel investment companies across the United States. I made my first angel investment in 1993, and I had dropped out of college. And I work with governments, local, city governments, state governments, countries, in trying to drive entrepreneurial activity. So I've seen a lot of companies get money and what happens after that. So what if I told you that today startups have more capital than they've ever had before? Would you believe me? Who believes that? The reality is, it's the case. And I think that the reason it's happening, I don't think, I know exactly why it's happening, is because we're actually at for lack of a better word, a perfect storm of activities, both public and private, that has caused this to happen. The government has, through the Jobs Act, liberalized who can invest. In the past, you used to have to be a high net worth individual. Today, it can be anyone out there. Crowdsourcing and crowdfunding platforms exist. They came in to fill that void, to allow people to invest in other people, which has created more money for the startups. And then you got shows like Shark Tank, which I never watch, can't stand. I did meet Kevin O'Leary the other day, though, at dinner with him. But people look at Shark Tank and say, I want to be an investor. And so they're out doing kind of investing, if you will. So we have way more funding than we've ever had before at this very early stage. It's going to be a problem out there, guys. There's a huge problem out there. But before we get to the problem, I wanted to show you, let's hold off on the graph. Let's talk about the problem, because I wasn't going to talk about the problem, but somebody challenged me over lunch and said you should talk about problems. I won't say who. The problem is that because of the media, because of the liberalization of the early stage capital markets, people are doing crazy stuff out there. There's a bubble. I forgot who said that today at lunch as well. There's a bubble out there. It's about to happen. And it's going to hurt some people, but it'll make a whole bunch of people a lot of money. Okay. The bubble exists because these people are going out there, taking money off their credit cards to go play investor on funding platforms because the government allows them to do that now. So they'll go out and they'll take, $1,000 off their credit card and put it into these companies thinking they're going to be the next Mark Cuban. The reality is there's been an increase in the number of startups getting funding early stage. Can we switch a slide? What we're looking at, next slide. This is what we're looking at right now. And I don't like slides and graphs and numbers, but what we've been seeing over the years, and this data starts in 2007, is that there's been an increase in the orange number. That's the number of early stage funding that's happening out there. But there hasn't been an equal number of increase in the follow-on funding. That's the investments that an institutional investor, i.e. a VC, makes. The crisis will be that we have EDCs in here, we have governments in here, we have investors, incubators, university professors in here teaching people, be entrepreneurial, be entrepreneurial. What will happen is there will be a collapse of a lot more companies out there, and it's not a bad thing. It's because there are a lot more starting. So let's not panic. Right? What we're looking at here, though, is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for those who understand the capital markets, who understand entrepreneurship, to capitalize on that gap. And that, by the way, is called a Series A crunch. I didn't discover it. It's been there forever. People have been talking about it, hitting us sooner or later. It's hitting us. This is a Series A crunch or a Series A gap. It's a gap between your family, friends, and fools, your pre-seed, seed investing, which is what angels and friends and family do, and the first institutional investment. Historically, that gap was between 2 million and about 4 million. We've seen that gap gone up to about 8 million now. So if you're looking to raise between $2 and $8 million, there's a shortage of it. That is the drought in financing that's happening right now. It is not the early stage. That's the stage that we're having a problem with. Well, why is that happening? It's really easy. Remember I'm telling you that people are borrowing money off their credit cards to invest? And angel investors are watching shows like Shark Tank saying, I'm in. Well, when it comes to the second round, how many of them got $2 million, $4 million sitting around to invest? Only the VC do. And the VCs don't want to spend a lot of time and money in these smaller companies. They still are. We still see the numbers going up. But they're not investing in as many companies as they're getting early stage funding. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is, if you got a lot of money and you want to build a VC fund, go after that little market right there. Because you'll be able to have the pick of the litter of the companies out there that you want to put money into. So, I'm not going to keep going into this whole thing. Anybody want to talk about it? I'd be happy to talk about it. I'm telling you right now, there's an opportunity out there. What I'm going to leave you with, though, is a challenge. Because I happen to have a great audience of government agencies, EDOs, investors, universities. I mean, I think there's some incubators in here. This is a great audience. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to, instead of going out and looking at your ecosystem and saying, we don't have any money, or we don't have the right resources, to take a comprehensive look at the holes that your ecosystems have and try to plug them. And I'm telling you right now, the community can figure out how to plug that Series A gap is the ones that are going to end up with the companies that are growing. You'll get the pick of the litter. If you can't do it as an EDO or a government agency or a VC fund or whatever the heck you are, go find someone who can. Talk to them. Because otherwise, can you change the slide, please? Keep going. Keep going. That was it? That's what's going to happen to your startups. You're going to pump them with a whole bunch of stuff till they blow up. Find that gap. Go do it. Thank you.